Have you ever had those days where you're completely overwhelmed with things to do? Today, I'm gonna share with you my tips to get more work done in your day. So a little context for you guys, I work at 2 companies, Blind and The Future. I manage about 10 people and an average of 5 projects at a time. So what keeps me on track on those crazy days?
No time!
Well, that brings me to my first tip. Tip number 1, create a prioritized to-do list. It's important to prioritize high value tasks. Things like new business development, client meetings, and project postings. At the very bottom of my list are low value maintenance tasks. Things like accounting, timesheets. Make sure to set up realistic goals and deadlines so at the end of the week, in case you don't finish your task, you don't feel defeated by them. And then by the end of the week, you can look back and see how productive or how not productive you were.
Hey Aaron, can I get those TPS reports, please?
Sure thing. Yep, I'm working on it right now.
So you might be asking, how do I track all of this? Well, let me start off by saying the tool isn't as important as the habit. But for all of you tactical people out there who always want to know what I use, here's what I recommend. I track my to-dos on apps. Currently, my favorite is Notion. This is my current to-do list. And as you can see, all my high value stuff, which is bolded here at the top, and at the bottom, there's some things that are less important, low value stuff. Those are all not bold. Those are just regular weighted things. As I go through the week, I check things off as I get them done. If there's something in the day that I don't get complete, usually what I'll do is I'll push it to the following day. So this allows me to keep track of all the things that I need to do and helps me reorganize my week in case I forget about things that, I just can't get to in that day. So let's get into tip number 2, track your time. Do you ever have those days where you feel like you're just so darn busy and you feel like you've done tons of work, but at the end of the day when you're kicking back, you realize, I got very little done. And then you ask yourself, where the heck did the day go? That's probably because you're not keeping track of where you're investing your time. So I started tracking my task using this handy little app on my phone called Now Then, which is kind of like a stopwatch where you can log various tasks like emails, client calls and meetings, break time, personal development. By logging my time for a whole week, a few things were revealed to me. I spent nearly 1/3 of my time on emails. 1/3. I spent very little time working on content for this channel here, and I spent 0 time on personal development. I realized how much of my time was going into a bottomless pit of low value tasks, like emails. But in the process of logging my time, I noticed something remarkable happen. My habits changed almost instantly. I saw an immediate shift in my focus towards important tasks, and I became significantly more productive. My time spent emailing dropped way down to 6.3% of my total time, and I now intentionally started making time to write content and carved out small chunks of the week for personal development. As the saying goes, what gets measured gets improved. So my tip number 2 for you guys, track your time. Be honest about everything you record, even break time and social media time. Trust me, your time doesn't go where you think it does. And once you have your log, try and minimize the time you spend on unimportant things like email or puppy videos. Instead, intentionally make time for the tasks that will help you or your business grow. So let's get into our next tip. Tip number 3, track your projects. Sometimes you have a ton of projects all going on at the same time, and you have to jump between them pretty frequently. Between Blind and The Future, I have to switch lanes often. Sometimes it leaves my head spinning, jumping between conversations and clients. The last thing I want to do is jump back onto a client project and be completely lost as to where we're currently at. So how do you stay on top of all of your projects? Personally, I like to keep track of every project using Notion. So this is the Notion workspace for our future video content team. They are all assigned to this. So what's cool about this is I've created all these guidelines, things like a creative checklist, making sure that every piece of video content they make follows these guidelines. And then there's technical guidelines, making sure everything looks correct. So this is just one central hub for everyone to reference. This is great for me because this makes sure that I can scale and grow the team, and I don't have to retrain somebody by hand and teach them all this stuff. It's already documented in one place. So this is a list of everything that's currently being worked on at the Futur right now. This is really awesome for me, the guy who oversees a lot of the content that goes out on this channel, because at a glance I can see what everybody's working on at any given time. Along the way I can make notes to this person. This is just great for visibility, so I know what's coming out for a channel. So even though I love Notion so much, to be honest, it's not really about the tool. It's about creating processes and habits that you and your team can commit to. So that's it for me today. I hope these tips are helpful to you. Let me know if there are any other specific project management or productivity questions you have in the comments sections below. If this video was valuable to you, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Till next time, guys.